Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bianca, and today we are heading to Bangkok. So this video is a little bit of a throwback because the trip actually happened nearly a year ago. Long story short, I had a flight ticket that was about to expire. Malaysia had a few public holidays coming out, and I figured, hey, why not just work remotely from Thailand? I ended up logging on the day after I landed and also on the day I flew back. So the vibe was really just a constant cycle of laptop time, walking, budget eating, sweating, and getting rained on. I was originally planning to do this completely solo, which kind of does make me a little bit nervous. Luckily, a friend stepped in to clear some annual leave and came along for the ride. So join me as I balance the grind, walk an absurd amount of steps, and slowly realize that Bangkok is a city designed to make you spend all your money on food. We started the trip with a night flight right after a full day of work. By the time we arrived in Bangkok and checked into Siam Eco Hostel, it was already around midnight. So the first day was really just landing, checking in, showering, and then sleeping. Not the most glamorous start, but after a long day, it was exactly what we needed. The next morning, the work part of the trip for me officially began. Luckily, the hostel had a really nice common room, so I set up my laptop there and took full advantage of the free breakfast. Okay, well, technically it's included in the room rate, but once the food is in front of me, I chose to call it free. After breakfast, my travel buddy headed out to explore, and I stayed back to get started, well, with work. This is probably the realistic side of a work and travel trip. I get it that everyone loves the idea of working remotely from another country, but once the laptop opens, a proper workday is still a proper workday where you have to deliver. Luckily, the environment was quiet enough for me to stay focused and to get work done. By midday, I was ready for a lunch break, so I closed my laptop to meet up with my travel buddy at Siam Paragon. On my way there, I saw McDonald's and just had to. Ba-la-ba-ba-ba. I should move. I didn't even eat there. I just saw the golden arches and needed to document its existence. After lunch, we made our way back towards the hostel, but Bangkok, being Bangkok, was already doing what it does best, placing incredible food directly in our path. We came across a local tom yum soup place that looked amazing, so we packed some back for later. At this point, I was basically trying to make my workday feel more like a holiday by adding snacks whenever possible. Then it was back to the hostel for round 2 of work. Once I finally wrapped up my hours, we headed out for dinner and tried a pad thai place recommended by the hostel staff. So a big shout out to Hun Lee because that recommendation really hit the spot after a long day. And since we were already out, we took the BTS to check out Emporium, M Sphere, and M Quartier. Honestly, seeing 3 massive luxury malls practically right next to each other, and somehow all of them still looking busy, was quite a concept to experience. We also checked out a few popular Thai brands like Gentlewomen, Butter Bear, and Care Bears. They were very cute, but also very pricey. So I could only admire everything from a safe, financially responsible distance. But eventually, after a full day of resisting expensive things, we ended the night with a massage. And that wraps up day 1. The next morning, we headed out to the Grand Palace, fully prepared to be proper tourists. But before we could even get close, Bangkok completely derailed us with mango sticky rice and coconut ice cream. To be fair, it was a long walk, and when the weather is that intense, dessert starts feeling like a necessary public health measure. The Grand Palace itself definitely lives up to its hype visually. So I have to admit that it was incredibly sunny and super crowded. So our visit quickly turned into this strategic game of admiring the architecture, snapping a quick photo, and then hunting down the next patch of shade like it was the main attraction. Luckily, we stumbled into the Queen's Sirikit Museum of Textiles. Well, that gave us some amazing context behind traditional Thai royal fashion. The real highlight was its glorious, beautiful air conditioning. After lunch with a view at Supaniga Eating Room, we wanted to cross the Chao Phraya River to Wat Arun. But right on cue, the skies opened up and it started pouring. And honestly, that is just the authentic Southeast Asian travel experience for you. You may plan the perfect itinerary, but the rain always has the final approval. By this point, my hair had completely surrendered to the humidity, but at some stage, well, acceptance is just much easier than resistance. After exploring the temple, we caught a boat over to Icon Siam, which is essentially Bangkok's mega monument to luxury retail. Icon Siam really is a world-class mall, especially with the indoor floating market concept. So it was also definitely on the expensive side. So I did what any patient budget traveler would do. Walk right back out to the streets after checking out the mall, found a local store, and ordered a plate of Pad Kaprao. By day 3, I noticed a very dangerous pattern. In Bangkok, you can leave your room for a tiny harmless errand and somehow return a few hours later with your stomach completely full. I was a case in point. Our plan was to literally just drop off our laundry and to just kill a bit of time. I mean, it's laundry. But because we were already out, we ended up wandering around the side streets near the hostel and it immediately turned into a food hunt. We found a hidden noodle shop, grabbed some grilled skewers along the way, and then spotted a store selling mango sticky rice for only 50 baht a box, which, let's be honest, is a permanent fixture on the daily schedule at this point. While waiting in line, we even ended up chatting with some friendly locals who apparently spoke fluent Mandarin, which was a fun and pretty unexpected moment. Later that afternoon, the hostel staff suggested that we check out Chatuchak Weekend Market, so we hopped over there. We went into Chatuchak with exactly one mission: helping my travel buddy source elephant pants for friends back home. So I thought I'll just tag along, but 3 stores later, I started to get pretty emotionally invested. Suddenly, I was analyzing color combinations and calculating whether we could negotiate a better deal. It was also ridiculously hot, so we grabbed some Thai milk tea to cool down, which worked beautifully for about 5 minutes before the weather decided to pour on us again. We kept walking anyway and ended up at a coconut ice cream store. The rain had practically cleared out the crowd, so as his only customers, the very sweet and kind vendor decided to give us a little performance while setting up the ice cream. To top off the night, we headed to Lumpini Boxing Stadium to watch live Muay Thai. I had never seen a match live before, and my only real reference point for martial arts is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But while Jiu-Jitsu does involve a lot of quiet, ground-based suffering, Muay Thai is the exact opposite. It looks like basically high-energy pain with live musical sound effects. The entire stadium atmosphere was amazing though, complete with a crowd dance camp that thankfully chose other victims. We kicked off day 4 at Talafu because the hostel staff mentioned it was a legendary local foodie spot. And that sounded exactly like the kind of research that I was willing to do. and they were pretty accurate. The sheer amount of food options was overwhelming. But just as we were getting into the rhythm, the classic Bangkok rain returned. So we slowed down, took shelter under an awning, and just tried whatever snacks that were within arm's reach. By the end of it, a very rich cup of Thai milk tea officially sent me into a heavy food coma. Once the food coma wore off, we headed to Chinatown so I could finally hunt down some proper pineapple fried rice. The vendor kinda played me though, because I ended up just getting a rice on a pineapple-shaped plate, minus the actual pineapple. The next day, we headed over to Central World and, friends, it finally happened. Actual pineapple fried rice served inside a literal hollow-out pineapple. The mission was finally complete, and I finally got the aesthetic shots I came for. We also checked out Terminal 21, wandering around the different city themes to escape the afternoon heat, and naturally picking up a few more snacks along the way. My friend even surprised me with a belated birthday cake while we were exploring. By that point, looking at the sheer volume of food we consumed, we both knew that we desperately needed to get some exercise. So, we headed to Lumpini Park for a quick workout to claim a moral victory over the calories. It ended up being the perfect choice. Not for the cardio, but because we got to meet some incredibly friendly park cats, which made the whole effort completely worth it. For our final dinner, we hit up Ban Tat Tong Road for one last round of street food. By the time we finished, my feet were completely done, so we opted for a classic tuk-tuk ride back to the hostel. And since it was already midnight, breezing through the Bangkok streets in the cool night air was an amazing way to wrap up the trip. On our final day, it was right back into professional mood for me. Since our flight was later in the evening, I spent the day working in the hostel's common room while my friend very kindly went out to pack some local snacks for me to eat. After that, we headed to the airport to fly back home. But because our sheer commitment to eating was unparalleled, we managed to find a Dairy Queen at the terminal and squeezed in one last ice cream before boarding. To be fair, it was my first time ever in my life trying Dairy Queen, so it felt like the proper final sin to commit before ending the trip. And that wraps up my Bangkok work and travel trip. I think my final tally was around 7 or 8 portions of mango sticky rice over 6 days, which is a personal record that I am quite proud of. Oh, and not sponsored or anything, but if you happen to be looking out for a solid budget-friendly place to stay, I would definitely recommend Siam Eco Hostel. The location is super convenient, the common room is easy to work from, and the staff are great. And if you ever stay there, do help me say hello to Hun Lee for me, because her food recommendations honestly made the trip. With that, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this mini adventure. If you enjoyed the vlog, do give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss out the next one. Until the next trip, stay hydrated, and I shall see you very soon. Bye bye!